No, there was not.
Well, that's good.
Exactly.
Was there no normal coffee nearby that could be used as tar?
There was some of that.
Oh,
It was nearby, but it wasn't used. So I went over and examined this pile of feathers, and I found a carcass,
oh no.
a chicken carcass.
Oh.
And I was like, oh boy. It was our north neighbor, like their property, we share a property line with our north neighbor, and they also happen to have a chicken coop
Oh no.
with approximately 10 chickens.
And they're usually alive.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
they're not normally dead
Ooh.
that we've seen yet. Now, the good thing is, there is one good thing. The pile of feathers, it did have a trail. But that trail started at the pile, or sorry, it did kind of lead towards our north neighbor, but the pile of feathers didn't start, or the trail of feathers / trail of tears
Yeah.
did not start until like our side of the fence.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
So it wasn't as though, by all appearances, the chicken did not
Was killed on your property.
was killed on my side of the property.
Okay.
It
I guess
wasn't
that
that
is
my
right.
dog left my property in order to commit a murder of a chicken.
He was just protecting his property.
He was protecting his flock of chickens,
Yeah.
of which we have none.
Your little boys.
Correct. So I decided, you know what? Okay, wait. I've been critiqued by many of people that I've told this story to on what I decided to do.
Okay.
What would you guys do if you were in this scenario? Chicken died, your dog killed it, but it was obviously the chicken had trespassed, and thus it paid the price with its life. What would you do?
I have a question for you. Before, are you certain that your dog's like? Is there a fence or a chain or something that would keep them from going over to your neighbor, stealing the chicken, bringing it back to your property, and then killing it?
We do have an underground fence, and we have one of the most potent shock collars that you can get on Amazon. I mean, it is like high octane. It's like if Jocko Willink made a dog fence, it would be this. It's called Extreme Dog Fence. There's like a pit bull, or, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
Yeah,
you
I
did
know
all
you
you could do.
So, and
I know what I would do. Theodore, you were starting talking. Go ahead.
I personally would have gotten 7 or 14 B-2 bombers. No, I'm joking.
And at the darkest part of the night.
I would have gone over to the neighbor and been like, hey, are you missing a chicken? I think one came over and our dog killed it. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay, so that would have been your response.
I think so.
Okay,
It depends how the neighbor is, but yeah.
all right.
I would have said similar same thing where I would have said, hey, I'm pretty sure your chicken got out, came across our line, and my dog killed it.
Okay.
But to make sure that you said, I would say that I have a dog fence and my dog doesn't cross that dog fence.
Well, yeah, and they also have a dog, and sometimes
okay.
our dogs, and they have it outside / inside. They play fetch with it outside sometimes. But when they're playing fetch, yes, Lucretia,
You know what we did with our dog when he killed a chicken?
Get closer to the mic.
what did you do?
We had to kill him. We had to put him down.
You had to, but
He also had cancer.
did that dog? My dog didn't go over to the neighbor's property.
Ours did.
Yeah.
Our dog stayed on our side of the property.
Are you sure?
I am really, really confident.
Okay.
I'm really confident. Like I was saying, sometimes our neighbor who has the chickens, they also have a dog, and when they play fetch, like our dog wants to go, goes nuts, and it wants to cross the line. It never does. It
Okay,
never
then
does.
you're safe.
It
I probably.
but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It wants to play fetch too. Okay, I won't.
This fence is too extreme. I
Exactly.
Can't
It's,
get crossed.
I
well,
would've-
what
she
would
is
Jocko
very.
do?
I would have done what Nicholas and Theodore said. I maybe would have just like added the question, have you ever seen, or maybe say, I don't think my dog has ever crossed over on your property. I think your chicken probably came over. Have you ever seen our dog over on your property? And then I probably would have like let him answer.
Okay.
And if you just said yes, I said liar. Just kidding.
All right.
Just kidding.
So,
what did you do that got so much criticism?
well,
You didn't do anything.
no,
Oh.
no, I did do something.
Did you?
But here's the thing.
Did you buy a chicken and at the dark of night try to like put it back in?
The problem
or
is
maybe
it was
an egg?
it was a rooster.
That died.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a blessing then. They
No.
want that.
He was probably protecting his flock, so for sure he came over.
No. Okay.
I'm-
Now, you all would have gotten the same criticism that I've gotten.
Because you did that.
Yes.
Who criticized you for
Yeah.
that?
Many of people said, no, you clean up the carcass and you throw it away. You don't say anything to the
No,
neighbor.
not with your neighbor that close.
Yeah.
No.
No. Then
I mean, if I
then
wouldn't know whose chicken
That's,
it was,
that's Amish. That's
or
a
whose
very
neighbor.
Amish activity right there.
That's
that's-
how the Amish handle it.
Yes.
then
No. If you find a dead bird in your yard, you call the hotline and say, "I found this bird." Everyone,
Ihop in Dodo.
A Rhode Island Red in my yard.
Yes.
guys. You need to get over here.
I called Birdman Eli, and I let him know. Du tellst das nicht glauben. Es ist dort, but es ist frisch. Es ist in mein Hof.
oh,
Hof.
Okay, but hiding it because they know they lost a chicken. There's one missing, and like most people, they know how many chickens they bought from the get go. They know how many are still alive. If one is missing and you hide it, and they come over and say, "Hey, do you know what happened to our chicken?" and you say, "Yeah, it's dead. I hit it."
It's not
That
doing
sounds
too
that
well.
sounds way worse. Then it sounds like your dog did go over there and kill it.
I have no idea what happened to your chicken. On something completely unrelated, would you want to come over for a stuffed turkey? like, I'm making wings on the grill.
I only got one chicken though.
I got 2 wings. That's it. I decided, I have to go over and say something. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to live with myself.
No.
Okay, so I went over there and I took my 3 boys with me to like kind of up the cuteness level.
Oh, there you go.
And like,
Oh,
hey, look at how innocent I am. I got 3 kids here.
They
I
probably
mean,
killed it.
I mean, you know how kids are. Always strangling chickens. And then on the 3rd night, the rooster crowed. No, I went over there and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I think my dog killed one of your chickens on our property. I don't know if I mentioned that. I was pretty sure that our dog didn't go in the. I don't know if I mentioned that part, but I said it looks like your chicken crossed over into our yard and then your chicken died."
by my dog's teeth.
Say
It
through
just died.
a series of
No,
unfortunate
what's like the
events.
Michael Scott where he's like passive, like the car hits Meredith and he's saying, "My
Oh, she hit my car like
she
that.
hit, she hit my car like your chicken like hit my dog's teeth."
Yeah.
And the puncture wounds.
I couldn't believe this. But after we died, we found out it had some worms in it because it like the intestines had been ripped open, and so we really like saved its life by killing it.
Or your other chickens
Quality
are
of life.
saved.
Yes, you're welcome.
You might want to check your other chickens.
No, so our neighbor Dawn, she's the one that answered the door, and I told her, and she got this look over her face like, "Oh no,
Oh.
No.
oh no," and she said, "Well, yeah, there was one that we didn't. I thought we had gotten them all, but then when we counted them up in the coop, there was one out yet." And so she admitted that she didn't put their chicken back into its cage. Okay, and so it was out just gallivanting around, living
Rose
life
Springer.
in the fast lane,
Ugh.
sowing its wild feathers.
Wow.
Typical rooster.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It
what
was
happened.
sick. And so she went over, and I followed her with my 2 boys, and she like went over to the pile of feathers,
Oh,
found the carcass.
No.
Guess what she did?
Knelt
touched
down
it.
beside it
And
To, like,
kissed
get
it.
up.
And to identify it.
and
What else did she do after she picked it up?
Oh no.
Started weeping.
She hugged it. She hugged it.
Yes.
No!
She picked up that dead chicken and she's like, oh no.
Layton,
And,
how much are you exaggerating?
I'm not exaggerating at all. I'm actually not overhyping
Did you get
this
your
at all.
phone out in this video?
And she lifted it up and like kind of cradled it in her neck. I'm like, oh. And then she just like, she didn't even say anything to me. She just like walked away.
Nuh-uh.
Like all the way back to her house, cradled in her neck. Oh no.
How dead was this chicken?
It was completely dead.
No.
Like,
how
how
many
gross.
days? How decayed was
It was like I said, Eli. It was fresh.
Okay, it was pretty fresh then. Would you have picked it up? Like to throw it away? It wasn't
Yeah.
like nasty enough where
No,
you
yeah,
pick
it
up.
wasn't actually mangled.
Okay.
It
Or
wasn't.
decayed.
There wasn't blood. There wasn't maggots.
Okay.
It looked like it was just a bag of bones. You know, but the bag wasn't punctured.
Yeah. It was still.
It was whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziploc
Could've
fresh.
eaten it.
I could have plugged that thing. I would have slapped it on the grill.
You should have been like, man, wait. We
We
wouldn't
need
put it
dinner.
on the grill.
I'm
Don't
just
take it
wondering,
back.
what are your neighbors doing with the chickens? Are they for like, I mean, are they
eggs?
They're for eggs. A rooster with
They're
eggs.
they're laying. But you always have to have at least one rooster. You want one rooster in your flock because they
you?
kind of keep them in order,
Yep. Keep them in order.
and it keeps them from wandering around
Yep.
like
At what
wandering
point do
too
they
far
get
away from the
henpecked
coop.
though?
What?
Aren't the roosters the ones that get henpecked?
If they listen to the hens.
But if you got a good
got a
rooster,
good rooster,
it
he's not
keeps them
getting
in their
hit.
place.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get a good rooster.
So now, and I
It
guess
is.
the
These
truth
days.
is,
I don't
you
know.
might
That's
actually,
why she was so devastated.
you might have,
'cause
and
that's-
you killed like the one special one. It would have been better if like one of the females.
Yeah,
would've
one of the
been.
hens. They can just replace,
Yeah. So
What did you tell your boys, and what did they say when they saw this?
I said, boys, listen. There comes a time in every man's life when you realize that
Strange neighbors.
you have strange neighbors, and there's also life is like a circle, okay? And in that circle, you start at the top and you go around, and as you turn the corner, things start to go downhill from there until you reach the top of the circle again. That's when you've gone full circle, and you're gonna find out what happens at the end of that circle. But it's cyclical. It's a
does.
circle of life.
But it keeps on circling.
Well, right.
Not for you.
Spiraling out of control. It's a spiral. No, I didn't actually talk about boys at all. They were like, they've seen dead animals before. They've
No,
seen our
I meant,
cat ran over.
I was talking actually about
About
the woman's reaction.
Yeah, like what do they think about her?
What did
picking
they
up-
think
Here's
about
what
Did
this?
they
I
say?
didn't even want to acknowledge
Layton, here's what you should have said.
my boys.
You should have said, boys, this is why it's very important to ask me before you get married to a woman. Because if she's like this, your life is gonna be awful.
Oh yeah, you're gonna end up like that rooster, just mangled, tired, lifeless, and bad.
What kind of neighbor is this? Is what I want to know. Like how neighborly? How's the neighbor relationship? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, by the way, I'm not done with the story then.
Oh.
But
Oh.
no, well, let's keep going. We could. I can answer your question.
I've got a neighbor story then too, but this has to do with a dog.
Mine does too.
There's no chicken involved.
Oh,
Here.
I see. No, they're pretty friendly. We buy eggs from them every once in a while. Because they
Wait, are they Amish?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say I can't imagine an Amish woman hugging a dead chicken.
No,
They're
and I'm gonna
weirdos.
be like, who cares? Fine, go take care of it.
I once killed someone's dog with my truck.
Because it had eaten one of your chickens.
It crossed. I mean, it ran onto the road, and I hit it. And it was on the way to school. I felt really bad. And it was a big dog, and I like, oh man, I need it. So I turned around, went back. I said, hey, I'm sorry, but like I just hit your dog on the road and killed it. And I can't even. This was an Amish family. And I can't imagine a more nonchalant.
Oh. I was like, well,
Actually,
don't need to buy any dog food anymore. Okay, but
And I think
but
they might
how-
have. I think they might have made the comment that he's always been running on the road and
Serves
just a
him
matter
About
of time.
time.
Well, I mean, honestly,
it is kind of their fault.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do they expect?
If you know that your dog has a tendency to run out on the road, you either have to get a fence, or you have to chain him up, or keep him inside, or you have to be the one. It's
You
the
have to
master's
be mad
responsibility. You can't
at someone
blame
hitting
like,
you.
oh, someone hit. Why were you driving your truck on the road in the first place?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, that's where trucks go. That's where vehicles go. Did it damage your truck at all?
No.
Okay, well, you should have filed a claim with them. It's like, well, okay, good, because you're gonna pay for my vehicle now. I'm not gonna buy you a dog, but you have to buy me a new truck.
Wait, do you have to buy other people's dogs if you hit them?
No.
That's
I
ridiculous.
mean, if you like drive
Dog's
into the
life is
yard,
priceless.
maybe.
Well, yeah.
No, if I had chickens and one of my chickens went over to my neighbor's yard, I'd actually feel bad, like, oh, I'm sorry there's a mess in your yard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry there's a bunch of feathers and
And a
fleas.
dead chicken.
There's a dead chicken. I'm sorry your kids had to see that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that your kids are traumatized by the carnage. But that was not her response at all. Instead, her response was, I decided, I kind of washed my hands of it because it was really gross. So I washed my hands. And I was like, I can't feel guilty for your chicken coming over to my yard.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just the way that it is. Okay? And so I went back to just jumping on the trampoline with my boys. Okay? So announced the dead chicken, watched her cradle a carcass.
I'd say that was the Trail of Tears.
Yes, she had her trail of tears, and I thought it had ended in the house, in her house. But then I went back to, wrestling around with the boys. We're yelling, having fun, whatever. And I look over, and she's then, we can see the front of her house and the back of her house from our property. Okay? And I can now see the back of the house, and what comes out is she's still cradling the carcass of the chicken. But then in front of her is her husband, and he's holding out in front of him, dangling from a chain, is like a little gold canister thing with an opening, and out of the opening is coming some smoke, and he's swinging it back and forth.
Like the Orthodox.
This is a cult.
Oh.
Like the
Is
Greek
this satanic?
Orthodox.
He didn't actually do it. No,
You-
he didn't do that. But
Agent, that would have been such a good story.
I know. But she didn't have it in her hand, cradling it anymore. She had it in like a box or some kind of container.
Okay.
And he doesn't have he's not carrying incense. He has a shovel, and so he goes back and she follows him to a row of arborvitaes that they've got in the back of their property, and he starts digging, whatever. And every once in a while I'm like, in between, wrestling sessions, I'm looking over, and
What are you looking for?
I'm just like seeing what they're doing. I mean, I'm watching the funeral procession from afar.
Did you tell him that you're a preacher? That you could
could
take
come
man?
to the
I said, hey, I've never anointed a chicken before, but I'm willing to do this if it's got the prayer of faith. Okay? All right? The prayer of a righteous man avails much. I don't know if it's able to avail this much, but oh man. So I just kind of watched from afar, and like every once in a while, when I was looking, I think she would kind of like take glances, like look at us, while we're just playing on the trampoline. Yeah, they're rejoicing while we're mourning. Okay, and then once her husband had dug a deep enough hole, she then got on the ground and she was like kind of like putting it in there and like saying its last words or whatever, giving a eulogy. He was like, her husband was like leaning on the shovel, and he took turn looking at the boisterous neighbors over there that had ended the precious life of their chicken. and he was taking glances over at us.
He's probably just thinking, I had to dig this stupid hole because of those guys.
Maybe he's like ruining my good yard. I don't know. It was insane. It was ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
So, yeah.
Have they contacted you about anything yet?
No, I did tell them. I think I told them that I'd buy them a new chicken or like pay for a new
That was
one.
nice of you. Not
Yeah.
necessary, but nice.
Was this before you saw what was about to happen, or once you saw her emotion?
No, I had told her that when I first approached her door to break the news to her. And it doesn't seem like that would.
I mean, I think there is a lesson here. Like,
You can't put a price on it. Wait, you can.
well,
They do it.
$14.99.
Yes.
if only she
From
would have.
Tyson.
If only she would have taken this much care when it was alive, and put it away in its coop, it might still be alive.
You can take the coop out of the chicken, but you can't take the chicken out of the coop.
Yeah, it's. If she would, you should have told her after you saw this. You said you should have told her. It's your own fault that you knew one was out. Why didn't you go
Right.
look for the lost sheep like
That's
you
right.
just did?
You should have left the 99
You never
chickens.
leave. Yeah, you never leave the one out.
And it doesn't sound like this is her favorite chicken by leaving it out.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious how she'd react to
Well,
one
maybe-
of her favorite chickens.
Maybe she thought, like, because it is her favorite chicken, that she, like, wanted this one to experience extra freedom. I should have consoled her. I should have said, you know what? Now its wings are bigger than ever.
Now it can actually fly.
Yes.
It's gonna have a new body.
That's right.
But no, chickens will go to heaven, ma'am. Bye.
Oh.
So, our story is not. This is just like more the ridiculousness of people valuing their animals. But Carmen talked to one of our neighbors just this week. I guess it was probably yesterday when she was out walking. They have a Doberman or two, and this woman was telling Carmen that her grandkids She asked if we still have our Leroy, and Carmen said no, he bit someone, and so we put him down. And then she said that her kids they don't come around as much anymore.
Because they bite too, or what?
She said that the kids claimed that her Doberman bit one of her kids, but there was no marks on it. And so when the kids did come over with their grandkids, or like her grandkids, she would tell them, like, you gotta be more quiet because like you're getting the dogs riled up. And then her kids would say, well, they're kids, they're at grandma's house, like, what do you expect? They're gonna like just like have fun and run around. And so they just don't come around anymore as much.
Oh my.
I know, like this grandmother would rather have her dog.
She's advocating for her dog more than for her grandchildren.
Yes, and her kids. Like her kids don't come around as much either anymore.
Wow.
I just was just shocked.
That is
I
insane.
could not believe it.
That's why we are in the way we are, our society.
That's why we're having war in the Middle East right now.
Did you guys know that there are more dog parks being built than children's
Playgrounds.
parks in the U.S.?
Ridiculous. Rude.
I'm not surprised.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was gonna do one as well.
You gonna do a dog park?
Yeah,
It
but
was for money.
it was
That's
special.
exciting.
You can't charge for kids parks. That's the problem.
Hey,
No
you
one's
know
gonna pay
what?
for 'em.
That's a moneymaker right there.
That's true.
If you make a really good one though,
Kids park.
yeah, you could charge it.
It's called Chuck E. Cheese.
It's awful.
It's greasy.
This would be great.
Ooh, I love Chuck E. Cheese. I've never been there in like forever.
It's just
Are they even still around?
Yeah. Do what? Oh, pop quiz. I learned this from my brother-in-law. What does the E in Chuck E. Cheese stand for?
Charles.
Chuck E. The E in like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, E is an initial.
Okay.
Oh, really?
It's not Chuck
Chuck
E.
Edward Charles.
It's Chuck E.
Chuck E.
Yeah.
Cheese. Oh,
Is it a name?
No, it's not.
Entertainment.
Yes.
Chucky? Or
Chuck-
Chuck?
Charles.
Chuck-
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Interesting.
what?
Yep.
Who would have
And
thought
he
that?
doesn't know his birthday. That's why he likes to celebrate kids' birthdays. Because he doesn't know his own. Because he's an orphan. There's like a whole lore to
Are
it.
you serious?
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
Because people go there for birthdays and he always comes out with pizza and the stuffed animal or whatever.
Oh my. That sounds so
That is
depressing.
interesting.
That sounds like a
Horror movie.
yeah.
I don't know if I do that far. It's just a guy that's just
A mouse.
a mouse.
A
A
giant
large
mouse.
mouse. It's a rat.
It's a rat.
Is
It's
it
a rat
rat?
that brings out pizza to
How is
kids.
that not a horror movie?
I don't know, but it's got pizza. Like, come on.
But it's the same pizza that you picked before you ordered.
Oh, it's stale pizza.
Stale pizza.
Guess what? This crust is stuffed with my sad dreams.
All right. Anything else?
That took
Um,
a turn for the worse.
No, I have a really good story, but I don't know if I'll say it next week because Dion said, "Oh, I just said it." Someone's gonna be on next week.
Nicholas.
But should I say it for the next week then?
We
Well,
need to go, Nicholas.
You just
know.
have to go.
Kinda.
All right. We'll have to say it for a few times. What is it so I can put it in the docket?
It's a story about our RV trip, and our evening was gonna be a great evening.
Was it?
With kids, enjoyment, maybe watching a movie, and it turned into
Oh, yeah.
a nightmare. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
This is a great story.
Where? I don't know. I don't know where it is, but
This is why I run the soundboard and not Nicholas. He's just over there looking like look, who's that? Who's that?
the
Charles.
blind piano player.
Yeah, the blind piano player.
What's
What's his name?
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles. He's Ray Charles.
Ray
over there.
Charles.
Running the soundboard. Oh.
All right. What's the point?
The point is, Ruben, Jocko Willink made a coffee, and it's called No Normal Coffee. Point number 2, birds of a feather shouldn't be spread. Apparently. And point number 3, Chuck has a middle name, and it's entertainment.
All right. What is our word of the week, Theodore?
Funeral.
Funeral.
We had a funeral for a bird.
A funeral bird.
That's no. Where's Noah, Mom?
He went outside.
What? Alone. Wow, he can just do whatever he wants.
Oh
He's driving already.
I don't have to rob it.
Immortal.
How long are you guys
In
gonna
the
be camping?
jailhouse now.
Are you on Wednesday
I don't want to. I really don't want to drive
to work?
to work Thursday morning. I could, but it's just